Take a breath with me. Not the kind you take when you're bracing, but the kind you take when you're settled. Slow, present, here. Today we're talking about what happens after you begin trusting yourself again. Because once trust returns, something else quietly shifts. You stop explaining yourself. And that can feel uncomfortable at first. For a long time, explaining was survival. You learned to soften your truth so it would be accepted. You learned to justify your needs so they wouldn't be rejected. You learned to provide context, background, reasons, stories, just so your yes or your no would be allowed. Not because you were weak, but because clarity once came with consequences. When you lived in survival mode, explaining kept you safe. It said, "Please don't misunderstand me. Please don't leave. Please don't get angry. Please don't punish me for knowing what I know." So you learn to over-explain. You learn to manage reactions before they happened. You learn to dilute your certainty into something more comfortable for others. That was adaptive. And now, it's no longer necessary. Here's what happens as self-trust returns. Your body knows before your mind does. You feel a clear yes or a clear no. And instead of panic, instead of scrambling for reasons, instead of rehearsing your explanation, there's just stillness. And that stillness can feel unsettling because silence used to be dangerous. Let me say this gently. You are not obligated to explain decisions that are aligned. You are not required to justify boundaries that protect your peace. You are not responsible for making your clarity comfortable for everyone else. Your yes does not need a paragraph. Your no does not need a backstory. They are complete on their own. This is what it means to live from inner authority. Not dominance, not control, not ego, but grounded self-permission. Inner authority sounds like, "This feels right to me. I'm choosing something different. I'm not available for that anymore. I don't need to explain." And then you stop talking. Not because you're shutting people out, but because you're finally listening inward. Here's the part many people aren't prepared for. When you stop over-explaining, some people will feel unsettled. Not because you're wrong, but because your nervous system is no longer available for negotiation. You're no longer asking for permission to trust yourself, and that changes the dynamic. You might notice conversations getting quieter, decisions get simpler, relationships shift, Your body relaxes faster. You feel less drained afterward because you're no longer performing safety. You are embodying it. This is not coldness. This is not disconnection. This is regulation. This is what calm certainty looks like. And yes, it may feel strange at first. You may wonder, am I being selfish? Am I being too firm? Am I being unkind? Let me reassure you, clarity is not cruelty. Boundaries are not rejection. Silence is not abandonment. Sometimes it's just maturity. Here's a gentle practice for this season. The next time you feel the urge to explain, pause. Take one breath. Ask yourself, is this explanation coming from clarity or from fear? If it's fear, you don't need to speak. If it's clarity, a single sentence will be enough. Trust that. You are allowed to let your life be simple now. You are allowed to choose without debate. You are allowed to move quietly. You are allowed to let your yes be yes and your no stand on their own. You don't need to convince anyone that your inner knowing is valid. It already is. Put a hand on your body for a moment. Feel how much effort you've been carrying. And feel what it's like to set it down. Say this gently inside. My clarity is enough. My choices are allowed. I trust myself to live this way. You didn't survive all that just to keep explaining yourself. You healed so you could live from truth without translation. This is not withdrawal. This is embodiment. This is what rising looks like when it's quiet, grounded, and real. You're not becoming someone new. You're finally letting yourself be enough.